nothing. Yeah, if it ain't love, it ain't nothing.
Peace and power to the true and living. What's good, family? This is CBornNacirfaSun, and I am you. Yo, I'm excited to be coming at you with yet another powerful video. This is Reflections of a Higher Consciousness. And as always, family, you know we are about to dive deep. But before we get into that, we always got to stop and say, thank you, Lord. We invite your presence into every aspect of our lives, especially here and especially now. Amen. Yes, sir. Yo, this video shouldn't be too long because I'm responding to some things. I was having a conversation with my brother not too long ago, and he was throwing out some questions, and they're very silly questions, right? But I feel the need to respond to this and dive deeper into it because of, the world we're living in today, especially, America. See all the things that's happening in America. There is growing atheism. There is growing rebellion against God. There's all this rhetoric, right? Rebelling against God, blaming God for everything, hating God, and trying to, reconstruct everything that the Creator made. So you have these people who, make these arguments. And for those of us who are spiritually aware, you know what I'm saying? We know that these are silly arguments. We know that these are arguments that stem from deep intellectual confusion, deep intellectual ignorance. You know what I'm saying? However, I feel it very important to respond to these things because I know that there's a lot of lost souls out there, right? And especially young people. There's a lot of young people out there, right, who are not being, this whole tradition of God, knowing of the Creator, believing in the Creator. These are values that used to be passed down, you know what I'm saying, to generations coming after us. But these days, that's not being done, right? Because of the overwhelming ignorance and confusion. You know what I mean? So, I've heard such arguments a lot. I've heard these arguments a lot. Matter of fact, I was watching a video some time ago, and there was some young people talking about some abortion is women's rights, God is not real, and all kind of nonsense like that, right? But anyways, let me not keep y'all in suspense. So let me tell y'all. First, I took some notes here. I'm gonna read, the argument that my brother was making, because the point that he was trying to make is that, God must be this arrogant and ego driven God who created, creation and human beings for his own entertainment and nonsense like that. So this is what he said. He said, if you were a creator, a God, would you want to be worshipped? Right? Would you want to be worshipped by your creation? And if so, why? Right? Why would you create them in the first place? Were you bored? So God uses us for entertainment, right? Did God create man because he loves them? Wait a minute. How can you love something that doesn't exist, right? So these are the the questions that he was posing to me. And like I said, for a lot of us who are spiritually aware, these are silly questions, but I must respond and go deeper into this for the lost souls that are out there who are genuinely seeking and searching answers, right? So the whole thing here is about worship. Why? Why worship? Why should we worship God? Right? Because if God is not some arrogant and ego-driven God, then, it shouldn't matter whether we worship him or not. Or what is the purpose of worship? Is it just to make God feel good and so forth? Right? So let's dive into this. Because I'm gonna explain to you how the purpose and the necessity of worship. Right? And why worship is not for God. Right? We worship God for ourselves. You worshiping God does not do anything for God. It's not like the reality and existence and condition of God is dependent upon human worship. Absolutely not. You know what I'm saying? So let's get into that. Bo over there drinking that dirty water. Let them have it. Do what you do. I remember back in Liberia, we used to go swimming in the back, this little body of water we had in the back of the house. And when the water settles, it looks clean. But as soon as you jump in there, man, it's full of dirt. And we'd be swimming in that water. And you know how when you're swimming, sometimes you accidentally drink the water. I can't tell you how many times we drank that dirty water. You know what I'm saying? We survivors, man. That's why Africans are strong. You know what I mean? But anyways, let's get into this. So, like I said, I'm going to be explaining the purpose of worship. Why is it important and necessary that human beings worship God? And how you worshiping God is not for God, it's for you. You know what I mean? So let's get into this. I took some notes here, but honestly, my notes are all over the place. So I'm going to try to bring it all together in a nice and cohesive manner. Where do I want to begin? Well, let's go back to the very beginning, right? And Bo, don't get in that water, man. So let's go back to the beginning. I strongly encourage you to go and watch the video that I did on the Holy Trinity, or a while back. I think it's about a year ago, or even more than a year ago. I recorded a video titled The Holy Trinity, where we went deep into the Trinity. You know what I mean? And that was a very deep lecture. So in order to understand this video, you have to go and watch the Holy Trinity video, because some of the things I'm going to be discussing here requires that background knowledge, and I'm not going to be giving all of that right here and now. You know what I'm saying? So let's go back to the beginning when God brought creation into existence. How and why did he do that, right? The argument, Bo, don't get in that water. The argument that you hear a lot of people say is, I didn't ask to be born, right? I didn't ask to be here in the first place. Well, actually, that's not true. It is not true, right? You are alive today in this creation because that's what you wanted. That's what you asked for. You know what I'm saying? And this is why I was saying earlier, you must go back to the Holy Trinity video, because I broke it down. You know what I'm saying? I broke all of that down. So I'm not going to go into it right here. But we are all alive today in this creation because that's what we wanted and that's what we pleaded for. You know what I'm saying? So I want to give you an illustration to kind of build upon some of the things that were discussed in the Holy Trinity video, right? I want to give you an illustration. So in talking about how human beings came into existence and why God decided to bring creation into existence, right? Picture it like this, right? Picture a blacksmith. A blacksmith. I think those are the people who make, they forge tools out of metal. I believe that's what a blacksmith is, if I'm not mistaken, right? So think about a blacksmith. These people who forge various tools out of metal, right? So when the blacksmith is working, right, there are many sparks that are flying off, right, and landing, all on the floor, on the ground, in the work area where the blacksmith is working. There's various sparks flying off and landing everywhere, right? Now, those sparks that fly off and land everywhere, does the blacksmith even care about those little sparks that's flying everywhere, right? No, he doesn't care about the sparks. After he creates his tool, he doesn't walk around picking up all those little sparks and putting them in a bag and saving them for. He doesn't do that. He doesn't even give a second thought to all the sparks that are flying off when he's forging his tools, right? So this is kind of the same way how it happened, talking about God and how creation came into existence. As I explained in that Holy Trinity video, right? In the beginning, right? And again, God is eternal. but we are outside of eternity and we cannot understand what eternity is. So we have to say things like in the beginning, you know what I'm saying? But God has always been, you know what I'm saying? He has no beginning, he has no ending, right? So for the sake of our understanding, we have to use these words, right? So in the beginning was God, right? And his divinity, the divine world and the divine beings, right? And divinity came from the radiation of the creator. So, right, so imagine God like the blacksmith, right? Who's in his shop, you know, right? And creating. But what he was creating was divinity, the divine world and the divine beings. He wasn't, didn't think anything of human beings and creation, right? It was God and his divinity. But in the process of, divinity coming into form, taking form and becoming conscious and so forth, right? Little sparks flew off in this process of the divinity taking form, right? Little sparks flew off, right? And these little sparks were at the outer border of the divine realm, right? And these little sparks that flew off when these little sparks that flew off during this divine activity of God, right? These little sparks is what later became creation and all the creatures in creation, right? So just like the blacksmith, when he's working, these little sparks flying off, same thing when God was doing his divine work, right? These little sparks flew off, right? Now God doesn't need these little sparks, right? He could have just left them there where they were at the outer border of the divine realm. He didn't need these little sparks. Just like the blacksmith does not need the sparks that flies off when he's making his tools, right? However, we are talking about, the power of the creator. So these little sparks that flew off from divine activity, right? They were spiritual sparks, right? And they could not come into existence within divinity. And I explained all this in the Holy Trinity video. I'm not gonna go into it, right? But these little spiritual sparks, right? They had a strong urge to become conscious, right? They wanted to become life. They were not life. They were just little sparks, right? So they had a strong urge to become conscious, right? And this urge, right, as time went on, right, this urge grew and became stronger. So it went from an urge to a petition, right? So then the creator decided to, no, come here. Stay on this side. I don't want you crossing the border. Stay on this side, right? So after so long of this petitioning urge, right? This urge became so strong that it arose to God's throne. So God then decided, right, out of love for these little spiritual spark, he decided to allow them to come. He decided to give them life, right? He decided to give them life. So that's how we all came into existence. Long story short, that's how we all came into existence. We were just little sparks, right, that flew off when God was doing his divine work. So he did not have to give us life. He did not need us. Bo, come here. He did not have to give us life, and he did not need us, right? We asked God to give us this life. We begged and pleaded with God to give us this life. And he decided to do that, to give these little sparks a chance at becoming life. Bo, I told you to stay on this side. Come here. Come here. Go chill with Marble, man. You see she back there chilling. You just all over the place. You know what I mean? So when people assert, oh, I didn't ask to be born. I didn't ask for this life. False. You did. You just don't remember that you asked for this life, right? Now, here's another proof. How do we know that we asked for this life, right? Here's the proof. What did I write down here? Every human being wants to live. Every human being wants to live, and they want to be happy, and they want to be at peace, and they want to be prosperous deep down. That's what every single human being wants, right? So, oh no, CBorn, there's some people out there who don't want to live. They hate life and they're suicidal. The only reason why they are in that state is because they have done something, right? Through the various earth lives that they have lived, they have done something. They have made decisions and taken actions that have perhaps ruined their life. So now they don't want this life, right? They want to end it. They want to destroy it. So if anybody who tells you that they don't want to live, is because they themselves have messed their life up. But the life that God gave you was paradise. So deep down, everybody wants to live. You want to be prosperous. You want to be happy. You want to be at peace. You want to be free, right? You want that. So that's how we know that God did not force this life upon us. He granted our petition. And he gave us many gifts in the process, in the ultimate gift of life, right? So y'all don't come here with that nonsense trying to blame God and accuse God because you have screwed your life up. It ain't God's fault. You use your own free will. You use your freedom to screw your life up. It wasn't God's fault. But you can't play that. I didn't ask to be created. I'm sorry, but you did. You begged and you pleaded for it. And thank God that he gave us his life. You know what I'm saying? All right, what else? So that's that. Now let's get into worship. What is the purpose and the importance of worship, right? I was having this conversation with my brother. He, saying all these silly things. So I was breaking it down for him. And this is what I told him. I said, why do we eat food? Right? Why do we eat food? Why do we drink water? Why do we use the bathroom? Why do we sleep in? Why do we do all these things? Right? And he answered, well, it's to survive. It's for our survival. Yes, exactly. We have to do all these things: eating food, drinking water, using the bathroom, sleeping. We have to do all these things for the survival of the physical body. That's what is required for physical life. For this physical body, right, to remain in existence and be healthy and prosper, we must eat. We must drink. We must use the bathroom, right? We must rest and so forth, right? So that is what is required to keep this physical body in existence, right? So now, what is required, though, to keep the spirit in existence, right? Because remember, human beings, this damn dog. Because remember, human beings, we are spirits. We are spiritual creatures, right? We are spiritual creatures who are using this gross material body, this gross material vessel, in order to journey in this material world. But what we are spirits. So we know what is required to keep the body alive, to keep it healthy and prospering. But what is required to keep the spirit alive, healthy and prospering, right? The answer to that is worship, the worship of God. Well, and let me say that in another way. The answer to that is maintaining a connection with our Creator. God is the source of our life, right? And if you go back to the Holy Trinity video, I broke this all down, right? God is the source of life. These spiritual creatures that we are, right? You are not living on your own strength. No, it is the power of God that is keeping you alive, right? You're not living on your own strength. It is the power of God that's keeping you alive. You know what I mean? So in order to keep this spirit alive in existence, in creation, that connection with God must be maintained, because all the power, all the nourishment, all that is needed to maintain this life and keep it in existence comes from God. None of us have life on our own strength. You see what I'm saying? So we have to keep that connection with our creator in order to remain in existence. So just like, eating food, sleeping, drinking water, using the bathroom and so forth, right? That is required to keep the physical body in existence, right? But all the things that we do to keep our spirits connected with our creator, right? That's the worship that keeps us alive and in existence, right? That's what worship really is. Worship, right? The purpose of worship is to maintain that connection with God. Where did he go? Bo, come here. Come here, Bo. I need you to stay down here, buddy. Don't go out of sight, right? So the things that we do to keep the spirit connected with its source of life, which is the creator, we call it worship, right? But we don't worship because God needs worship. We worship because that's what it is. That's what it requires to keep the spirit alive in existence, right? This is why the first commandment was given to us, not to put anything above God, not to have no gods before the creator, because nothing else is keeping you alive in this creation. Nothing else is keeping you in existence. It is only the power of God that is keeping you alive and in existence, right? So worship is what we do to maintain that. You know what I mean? So this is why worship is necessary. This is why worship is important. This is why we cannot do without worship. And worship does not necessarily mean going to church or going to the mosque or going to the temple, getting on your knee and uttering memorized things and so forth. That's not what worship is. You know what I'm saying? Worship in the truest sense of the word just means that maintaining the connection with our creator, right? And there are various things that we could do in order to maintain this connection with God, right? For example, learning creation, learning the word of God, right? Learning his laws and adjusting our lives to his laws and his will. That's worship. You know what I mean? So worship can happen in so many ways, but the purpose of it is to keep us connected with our source of life. God doesn't need us. God don't need you. You know what I'm saying? God is God whether or not you're in existence. God was God before you, and God will continue to be God whether or not you are here. God don't need you. You need him. You know what I'm saying? Let me go to my notes. What did I write down? If you take a leaf, right? If you take a leaf from a tree, right? Eventually, that leaf is going to die. But that tree is not going to die. The tree is not even going to notice that it lost a leaf. You know what I'm saying? That tree losing that leaf does not affect that tree in the least bit. The tree is still going to be a tree, and it's still going to do what it does. You know what I'm saying? Excuse my shaking, fam. I'm sitting here in concrete and it's hurting my booty. It's concrete hurting my booty. You know what I'm saying? But we almost done. This video's not going to be too long. But yeah, when you disconnect a leaf from a tree, the tree is not going to wither and die, right? But eventually that leaf will wither and die. So we are that leaf. And God is the tree of life. So if you want to remain in existence, leaf, human leaf, you must remain connected to that tree. That is your creator. Bo, come here. I don't want you going over there by yourself. Stay over there. Look at Marble. Why can't you do what Marble does? You see how she's chilling back there? Remaining within sight? I'm going to need you to do that. All right. So again, yes, the leaf does not need the tree. I mean, the tree does not need the leaf, but the leaf needs the tree, right? Same way as God does not need you, you need God, right? So you worship and God does nothing for God. God did not tell you, you should put no gods before me because he's arrogant, because he's full of ego, right? Because of pride, because he's jealous. All those qualities do not exist with the creator. Those are qualities which we have tied force upon our creator. But no, God is none of those things. You know what I'm saying? So whether or not you worship God does not make a difference to God. You know what I'm saying? But it'll make a difference to you. It'll make a difference to your life. You know what I mean? So let me look at my notes here and see what else what else I can add on to this to enrich it. Yeah, man, I don't think I need to really embellish this any further. You know what I'm saying? I just wanted to make a short video to explain the purpose of worship because, yeah, that's it, fam. That's what worship is, and that's why we need worship. You know what I mean? It's not because God wants entertainment. It's not because God is so bored, that God is so empty, that he needs us, that he had to create little slaves to entertain him and worship him and make him feel good about himself. No, those are human ideas. Those are human qualities. Those are things that we see human beings doing. But for some reason, we always want to force our ills upon the Creator. This dog. That's why I got to stop this video, because this dog, he's getting restless. He ain't going to chill. You know what I mean? But anyways, fam, I think we got the gist of the message, man. I think we got the gist of the message. So for all these people out there, if you are genuine, you know what I'm saying, about learning the truth about life, about creation, about the Creator, if you're really genuine, you know what I'm saying, you must be willing to challenge everything that you hold dear. All the things that you believe, you must be willing to challenge those things. You know what I'm saying? Because truth is going to stand against anything you throw at it. The truth does not budge. You know what I'm saying? So if you're really genuine about learning, especially in today's world of confusion, you know what I'm saying, with this growing hatred and darkness and Luciferianism, if you're genuine about learning these things and liberating yourself from the confusion, dive into the Grail message. Take your time and dive into the Grail message and experience it. Because the Grail message will tell you everything that you need to know about life, creation, and your Creator. You know what I'm saying? If you are really genuine. You know what I mean? So, man, I hope this video helps whoever it needs to help. I hope whoever needs to hear this hears it, because we are in dire times, family. We're in dire times. You know what I mean? And you're going to continue to hear such arguments against the Creator. Right? And you must know how to respond to these things. You know what I mean? But anyways, let me go ahead and stop this video and continue to walk with these dogs. You see how Marble just chilling? Of course, she's a lot older. Bo's a pup. He's not even a year old yet, so he's very immature. He requires a lot more time and attention. You know what I mean? And Marble is very tolerant with him. But anyways, man, that's it. That's worship for you. You know what I mean? So y'all, you people out there, you lost and ignorant people out there, y'all need to stop rebelling against God. You need to stop blaming God for all your ills. You know what I'm saying? And you need to learn the truth. God is love. God is the source of life. Everything that you're able to do today, you're doing it with the power of God. It is the power of God that is allowing you to do everything. So all you people who are hating God and rebelling against God and all these things, you are using the power of God to do these things. So thank the God that he is so loving, so tolerant, so patient, that he will even allow you to use his gifts to rebel against him. Anyways, fam, thank the Lord for that. You know what I mean? So it ain't God's fault. It is the fault of humanity. It isn't God that needs to change. It is human beings that need to change. You know what I mean? So with that being said, fam, I got to sign off. I got to hold this thing. I got to sign off, fam. So peace and power to the true and living. This is CBornNacirfaSun, and I am you. All right, I'll see y'all next time.
If it ain't love, it ain't nothing. Yeah. If it ain't love, it ain't nothing.